Beam me aboard.
Energize.
Energizing.
Kirk to transporter room. Report.
You're listening to Transporter Room 3 with your hosts, Phil Perello and Scott Calora.
S is about to get R, TR3 listeners. This is Phil Perello and
Scott Calora.
fresh from not even 24 hours later since we saw 2 Star Trek episodes on the big screen.
Yeah. For me, it was exactly 24 hours ago. I was in the midst of the of Iborg, or no, not Iborg. What the fuck was it called?
Q-Who, which is so weird to say aloud.
Q-Who. Yeah.
Scott, we had Q-Who and Measure of a Man, which I think Measure of a Man. I think I watched that movie in a way that makes us legally wed as of now.
You're legally wed to the episode?
Yeah, I think that and Best of Both Worlds. I'm becoming like the Big Love equivalent of Star Trek fans. So we're going to talk about those 2 episodes today in the podcast and wrap it up with a quick red shirt as always. But Scott, I have to ask you, was your screening full of the type of Star Trek fans that make it shameful to be a Star Trek fan?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Was yours?
I thought the 2009 movie just kind of equalized all that, but I was wrong.
Nah, they're not going to. The people who made the 2009 movie a hit aren't going to see Q-Who in the movies on a Wednesday night or Thursday night.
That's true. I just thought we learned better. I thought we evolved. I thought we Roddenberried our shit together.
Well, you saw it in the big fancy ass city of Los Angeles. I figured that wherever you saw it, that it would be a little bit of a different scene. I saw it out in the suburban clusterfuck of nowhere.
There were less big gulp enthusiasts at mine, probably given the LA area. We had Michael Okuda,
Right.
is the Asian live action Quagmire. That head of his on that body. There's a talking head moment in interstitial between the episodes where his wife is speaking directly to camera and he's just sitting there staring in some weird locked off trance. And his head just looks like it's one giggity away from becoming a Quagmire.
Come on, man. These guys are they're like keeping the dream alive. They're the ones who are making these high def transfers happen, and
that's right. I shouldn't knock his
they're
large
such big
noggin.
proponents of the whole movement, and here you are
Knocking his noggin. All right,
possibly you were inspired by text messages I sent you last night. I don't know, but
a little bit. Yeah, I was on the lookout. It did
so he was actually at your screening.
He was at my screening, and so was Melinda Songrass, the writer of Measure of a Man.
Did they sit together?
I don't know if they sat together, but I talked to Songrass afterwards. I shook her hand, nerded out a little bit, tried to talk to her as a writer, tried to get some, trivia on the writing of the episode. All I got was that the choice to make Riker, the prosecutor, came from real JAG events. Because that's if a court-martial were to be adjourned on a ship or something, I believe she said, then the captain would take over one side, and then it would have to default to the first officer in the chain of command.
Right. So it's the same exact thing she told me today, only it was when I was listening to the commentary on the Blu-ray. So she didn't actually say it directly to me, although I choose to believe that she was thinking about me when she said it while recording the commentary.
Of course she was.
That's the thing with these that was her claim to fame, that episode, right? These people, they only have like a finite amount of things to say about these episodes or whatever their project is that they did all those years ago. You tend to hear the same stories if you pay enough attention, I think. Which that's cool, I guess. I don't know. The episodes, I had forgotten I guess I hadn't really watched it in a while, and it was always one of the ones that is good. You know, I always considered it a good episode, but like I was really so into it last night on the big screen,
Yeah,
much
me
more
too.
so than the Q episode and the
Me
Borg
too, which
episode.
was weird because I
Yeah,
dig the Borg episode, and no, Measure of Man, it was like watching Wrath of Khan. Like tonally, the way the characters feel and react and interact with each other is very. It feels like Wrath of Khan.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
even like some of the sets and and like the interactions with Picard and Philippa.
yeah. It's his old flame, right? It's like
Yeah,
this adversarial thing. They have this history that's kind of hinted at, right?
it's just damn good.
How about that admiral?
He was a little bit of a dick. The extra scene with him was interesting. I think it was an extra scene, right? Like
I think so. Where they're on the turbo lift,
yeah,
or
yeah.
and he's kind the high def like transfer that did wonders for his Rainbow Parade admiral's uniform that he had
Yeah,
on.
what was that? That's a little Sergeant Pepper's. And it also did not do his hastily grayed hair job any favors. They hobo shine that dome. Like they just it was like my high school theater company was called in to do the makeup on that one.
So they actually, I think they mentioned, and I'm pretty sure it's one of the restored deleted scenes because it's an extended cut of Measure of a Man that they played, and which is also on the Blu-ray. But I think they mentioned that Picard served on a ship called the Reliant.
The
Under
Reliant, the old Reliant. Yeah, yeah.
right, which I guess was not the Reliant, but it was a Reliant. Uh,
Although why they would continue the Reliant name after the events of Wrath of Khan is kind of sadistic. Because if you're serving on that ship, no, you're getting made fun of all the time or teased by fellow crewmates. Oh, well then at least I know where to pick you up at City Alpha 5.
but
Watch out for ear
but
rape.
but the episode's really right. Yeah, the episode really it's very very effective in the scene. I'm never a big Guinan fan. I always thought she was a
Especially
little
in Q Who, man, with those awkward finger
yeah.
slur off things she
What
does
it,
with Q.
what exactly is she going to do against
Yeah,
Q?
I don't understand. I think they're gonna have a dance off.
Right. And I guess nothing had really been like it was unclear back then what she could or couldn't do, so you could buy it more back then. But now in retrospect, it's like I guess she's old. She's been alive for a long time, but she doesn't have any real like powers compared to Q, all knowing, all powerful Q.
Right.
That episode, Q Who, it's like it's got these moments of brilliance, but then there's just these horrible moments as well, like Sonia Gomez or whatever her name is, who spills the
Right.
coffee or spills the
The
hot
hot
chocolate.
chocolate.
I mean, she just brings everything to a screeching halt, right?
He's a little grating, with the exception of the scene in the hallway where she's talking about how she fought to get on the Enterprise.
See,
She
I
worked very
thought that
hard.
I thought that was awful too.
Oh, really? I liked it because it just gave a layer, like it hinted to the potential for a better interaction and relationship between her
Right.
and Geordi, but they fucking dropped it.
Now she yeah, because now did she do? I think she did one more episode.
She did one more, I believe, and then they were like, let's no,
Yeah.
don't need her.
And because I think she was originally meant to eventually be like a romantic interest for Geordi, which I think I read that somewhere, which is a
Okay.
little creepy in a way. It's like hire it's like the new girl in the office pool, right? Like
Right.
straight out of finishing school, and
But instead
Geordi,
they were like, now
that's
let's just give it some polygon bitches.
yeah, that holodeck sex fiend is all over it. Now she's the tri-boobed mutant from
Yes, she is.
Total Recall, the original Total Recall.
She's also Lila in the Flash pilot.
Whoa,
Mm-hmm.
really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Replaced by Amanda.
Oh no, not the doctor from Star Labs. No, she's the biker chick who betrays the biker dude to Pike
Uh,
in the Flash.
wait, hold on a second. You're talking about Flash, the 1990 TV series?
I am Scott.
Okay, you know it way better than I do.
I do, Scott. I have a crazy affection for that show. Sidebar trivia. When I was a kid, My grandmother, I asked for a red sweatpants and sweatshirt costume so that my grandmother could turn it into the Flash.
Nice.
I had my old cheesy 1989 Kmart Batman cowl out of foam, and I turned it inside out. And my grandmother was going to try to put felt on it to make it red because it was black to make it
Nice.
red, and so I can wear it as my Flash costume.
Did you do it?
No, we got as far as making the gloves with like the
Okay.
foil. We used gold foil to make the lightning bolt trim, and we made the chest logo.
Okay.
I never fully assembled the costume.
The cowl is the hardest part, believe me. You can, in fact, anyone listening, go to YouTube and search how to make a kid Flash mask, and you'll find my video tutorial. I shit you not, on how to make a kid Flash mask, because I made a kid Flash costume for my kid I think it was a year ago.
Check out.
So next
That's
time you're
awesome.
you're in New York, Phil, man, we should, I'll help you finish your costume, and you and my kid can go out together.
Dude, that would be awesome. 10-year-old Phil is like, fuck yeah. Well, he's not like, fuck yeah. He's more like, yay, new friend, Scott.
Creepy old
But
guy who puts YouTube videos up of how to make costumes.
it's
But
about
anyway,
putting YouTube videos up of the kids that you put the costumes on.
that's true. So no, tell me about your screening experience though. Was because you had not gone to the season one
I had not gone to
one
season
back
one.
in July, which I did, which I had a great time, and I'd done that one in Manhattan, which was kind of a different experience than last night when I did it in the suburbs out here. But did you have a big crowd? Were people
Yeah,
dressed
it was an
up?
almost sold out crowd, and I just felt a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun there. It was just cool to like, because I'm a big extra features whore
Yeah,
on DVDs, and it was cool to see like that reunification interview with the entire cast.
yeah, that thing's awesome.
Um, it was just I missed some of the blooper reels because I went out to get concessions, but it was just fun watching a show that I started watching on the smallest screen possible to see it as an adult on a big screen. It was just fun, like thinking, wow, would 8-year-old Phil believe that this is happening? Like,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I I, I think like there's something about, and we've probably talked about this before, but there's something about that particular crew, that cast of actors. I think it's more than them just being actors. When you see them in that sort of casual round table setting where they hang out and they're chatting. It's billed as the 25th reunion for them. Like it really does seem like they are really just buds, right? And then
yeah, that they're family for sure.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there's no you don't I can't recall the last time the original cast, the surviving members, ever sat down for a round table like that.
Nah,
You
nah.
know,
Plus
they
they
just
all fucking hate Shatner, right? I
right,
mean,
with the exception of Nimoy. But
right.
to see, I mean, if anyone has, I mean, Patrick Stewart is legit, and
Right.
he just like disappears into the crowd. He's just one of the guys,
Yeah.
and it's awesome. And my only eye roll was when Marina Sirtis started crying at the story that Dorn shared. I won't spoil it for anyone here, but
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, you fucking ham.
Yeah. I really enjoyed
She
Michael.
grates on me, man, in in-person interviews. She just grates on me.
Yeah, me too.
I can feel the has-been radiating off her like heat.
Yeah, when she kind of addressed it a little bit in
Bit.
that session as well. The challenges of once the show ends, what happens, and I I wonder. I haven't watched I have the Blu-ray set actually because I'm reviewing it for IGN, and I haven't
You
finished.
lucky bastard, Scott.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't have the season one set, and you do, so.
Well, I had to purchase that bitch. Yeah, I
Right.
purchased the wrong one. I should have got two.
But I haven't watched that full segment yet. I have kind of working through the extra features this weekend, but so I wonder if she talks more about that because the what they showed in the theater last night for the extra feature stuff, I was surprised at how frank a lot of it was. Like they just
Me too.
they talk openly about how Gates McFadden was fired.
Right.
Like I never, I guess I don't know that much about the behind the scenes stuff, but I always thought it was a little bit more of a mystery. I mean, I knew she was it wasn't her choice to leave, but they make it sound now as though a lot of it
She
was
was just
because
fired.
yeah, she was fired. She didn't know how to play the game, and she was causing a stink, but she wasn't happy with a lot of the scripts.
Yeah, I know. Her and one of the producers, maybe Hans. No, he was on there for first season. I can't remember his name, but she butted heads with him.
Okay.
I can't remember his name, damn it. But yeah,
And she says that specifically she was bothered by a lot of the sexism in the scripts.
right.
And you know what? The first couple of seasons are pretty sexist.
Well, Angel One, come on, and
Yeah.
racist.
Yeah, and racist. And a lot of that sexism stuff, I think, kind of comes from the Roddenberry school of thought. You know, as progressive as he was in his way, he was still this old, old school kind of dude, who,
Yeah,
he liked his women not on the bridge in skirts, and he, Shatner taking his boots off right after commercial breaks or whatever. So, but now, did Akuda or what's her name, Melinda Snodgrass, the writer of Measure of a Man, did either of them make any kind of public statement or anything before the show started?
oh yeah, they thanked everyone for coming, and the moderator of the reunification interviews was on hand, and yeah, they just said thanks to everyone for coming, and don't forget to stay after the second episode for a preview of season 3.
Okay, all right.
And my girlfriend was with me, and I geeked out like it was Christmas morning to see Best of Both Worlds and yesterday's Enterprise in HD.
She cried last week when you guys watched the Deep Space Nine episode, and now this week it was your turn to cry.
Yeah, I screed like a Twihard fan. It was, I really did, and I just completely nerded the fuck out. I still am right now. I'm just so excited. And then when I couldn't think it could get any higher, they said a special documentary on the making of Best of Both Worlds. I was like, what?
Yeah. The behind the scenes stuff they're doing for these things really seems
Fucking in depth and
seems
impressive.
good. Yeah.
It seems pricey.
What's that?
It seems pricey, this is
Yeah.
costing a lot as it is.
Yeah. Maybe who knows what they're thinking. They get long-term value out of this stuff because some of the extras on the discs are recycled from previous DVD releases, I guess. So they must figure while we still have these guys willing to do this stuff, let's get this
Let's
stuff.
just document it. Yeah.
Yeah, and who knows what they shot, which hasn't been used yet either.
Right.
For future releases, but to get back to Measure of a Man, though, what did you think of the extra footage that was inserted? I didn't know the episode well enough to
enhance the episode. I don't know it well enough either, but I caught some of the newer bits, and
yeah.
I mean, it was when Maddox comes in to 10 forward at going away part. That was great. and the crowd erupted in applause when Riker is pushing him out by the chest fairly violently.
And then there was another bit right before that, I think, where Riker and Troy are talking among themselves, and they're questioning whether Data really is actually a conscious being, or whether he's just simulating consciousness. And they confess that they don't know either. So there's little bits in there for sure that I thought, that part in particular, I thought really highlighted Riker's arc.
No, I really like that. It sets up, the conflict he's going to have later on.
Yeah.
And it's the first time the crew has ever really addressed amongst themselves, is Data real? Never really thought of it. And then you think the scene is going to go one way, but Riker says, yeah, I'm not convinced that he isn't human.
Right. Yeah.
It's just that episode is so damn good.
Yeah.
Everyone
it really is.
arcs in that episode, even Maddox, who's such a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Did he ever come back? He must have come back in the comics or something, I guess, right?
If he does, it's definitely not in Next Gen proper, but it's probably in the comics. We know the Borg come back, obviously, segueing into Q Who, and so does Q. But
this is an instance where the problem with the Borg is that eventually they did they kind of talk about this in the extra features last night, but the whole point of the Borg were to introduce someone who they couldn't beat, a problem they couldn't solve, right?
Right.
And at the end of the episode, Picard loses, right? I mean,
he loses to the point where the only way to win is to sacrifice his pride and ask Q for help.
Right.
And the smart thing there is that, you know, he pulls the rug out from under it to a degree, and Q is actually kind of moved.
Right.
I mean, if you didn't know better, you'd say Q was kind of moved by, you know, the vulnerability displayed.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a strong turning point in that episode. You know, I don't think the episode is as great as I think that episode ages less well than Measure of a Man.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that's a nice way to put it. It's still good. It's still a strong episode, and I like how they. A little thing I had was, you know, when Riker finds the baby, the nursery. It's like, looks like the Borg are born as infants, and then why are they born as infants? Why can't it be that they just assimilated? I think it's scary to think that they assimilated babies.
Yeah. Well, they kind of dropped that in the future.
Yeah, they definitely do.
They never really touch on that again, but yeah, actually, maybe those were assimilated babies, and Riker misread it, that's pretty creepy.
Riker was just, you know, interpreting shit. Yeah.
But the Borg after this episode, as effective as stuff like Best of Both Worlds would be, they kind of do lose that edge eventually, but then they do start to get beaten, don't they?
Right.
And there is a way to, you know, they learn how to Starfleet. Shelby spends 1.5 years learning how to modulate shields or in phaser frequencies or whatever, and you know, and then it starts to become a little bit more that there's kind of sort of an equal ground in a détente between the Federation and the Borg, so much so that they really could just become recurring villains on Voyager, and that kind of, they lose their edge at that point. But when you look at how they're portrayed here, they really are scary. I mean, that the way that they kind of, I think the first time you see a Borg, he beams into engineering and is just like
he's just
messing
creeping
with the control. Yeah, and he's got like his Borg arm like shooting electricity into the control panel, and then he'll just turn and stare at them.
Which was just a frightening fucking moment. And
yeah,
the mood is so good because he just kind of appears. You know something's going to happen over Geordi's shoulder.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
when it does, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah,
it's fun to see the crew on the Enterprise not know what to do.
Yeah.
Not know how to react to this.
Yeah.
But that poor yellow shirt, man, who gets fucking thrown, like, and then
gets sternum crushed.
Yeah, let's follow that around the room, okay? Picard goes Wolf, and then Worf, he's like, fuck this. He basically nods at the yellow shirt and gives him the okay.
Yeah. No one's. It's like they're just passing the buck, right?
He's just passing the buck, and I don't know about your screening, but mine cracked up when Worf was like, "You do it," like, basically.
I didn't have my screening wasn't too good with the audience interaction. Actually, I was disappointed.
Effers.
Yeah, but they were all too busy slurping from their big gulps to.
Yeah, you gotta get that 60-ounce.
It's 120 ounce. But yeah, and it's like, even the terminology they use, it's like, Mr. Worf, disconnect the intruder by any means necessary. Like, he can't just say shoot the fucker, right? Like, it's like, and then the poor ensign winds up getting his breastplate fractured,
right, and
in 100 pieces.
he punctures lungs he didn't know he had in that toss.
So do you think they'll come back and do it again in the theater for season 3?
Oh hell yeah! You know,
seems like
they basically in that few minutes teaser, they set up the episodes they're going to show. You can count that they're going to show yesterday's Enterprise, followed by Best of Both Worlds.
Best of Both Worlds, yeah. Because
that's perfect, because season 4 would open with Best of Both Worlds Part 2. Right.
What would the other season 4 episode be, do you think?
Fudge. Now I have to rack my brain for season 4 eps. Is Galaxy Child in season 4?
No, that I'd love to see Galaxy's Child.
What's
Galaxy's Child with Tam Elbrum?
No, that's Tin Man.
See, I always mix that up. Galaxy's Child is when he soured the milk, right?
No, it's Galaxy. Yeah, Galaxy's Child is when he sours the milk. But
Okay.
the first one, Booby Trap, is season 3 where Leah Brahms makes her appearance.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm even bothering with this because I know it's not going to be that episode. I just want it to be.
You a big fan of Galaxy's Child? How do you feel about Tin Man?
I love Tin Man.
Yeah.
Tin Man. I have always wanted to do a version of that as a feature film.
Oh yeah.
Like just rape and pillage that idea. It's so good. The Offspring is season 3, correct?
I don't know, man. It's late.
We should
It's
do.
late here.
It is. The Offspring is season 3.
Okay.
We should do. I would love to see that on the big screen too, because that drama-wise, that hitting the same sweet spot as Measure of a Man. We should do a podcast on what we want to see in HD on the big screen for season 4.
It's a good idea. Yeah. Go back and look at the.
I got a soft spot for Future Imperfect.
Oh yeah, man. Future Imperfect, hell yeah. With what I love the ending where it's Riker and Bucky Barnes.
Yep.
For a minute there.
Shut
your mouth. What did he say?
I said shut your mouth. I said shut up. As in close your mouth and stop talking.
And I could have sworn back in the day with the episode promo, they used a different take of that scene.
Ooh.
Where
to the YouTubes.
Yeah, check YouTube where
Activate
he goes
YouTube.
because Riker says it's time we end this charade, and in the promo he says charade the way Picard would say charade.
Riker.
Check YouTube, folks. We'll see.
Because they're all on there. I've checked for most of them.
Oh yeah, they are. They're all so bad. They make the show seem so much more dated.
Right. You know what they'll probably do, man? They'll probably do either Best of Both Worlds for season 4. They'll kick off with Best of Both Worlds Part 2 and show either Redemption or Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Redemption, actually. Or even the one with Redemption's the season finale, right?
Yeah, we're the Klingon Civil War.
Yeah, maybe the one where Kalar comes back long enough to get killed.
Kalar.
I feel like it might be they might do a Klingon episode, but they haven't yet, really, right? So,
that would.
All right, well maybe it's time to move on to
Red
another
Shirt of the Week.
Yeah, Red Shirt of the Week.
Before we do that, I just want to give a verbal shout out to one of our listeners. I won't say his last name because I don't know if he'd be comfortable with me saying it on the air or not. But his name is David, and he's in the LA area. And he got a hold.
David Marcus?
Yes, David Marcus. He got a hold of me and said he was proud, very proud, to be my listener. Yeah. He got a hold of me on Facebook, asked if I was going to see the movie, and he offered to purchase my ticket. And I was not sure if he was serious or not, but he was. And he came through, and it was one of the nicest things an acquaintance has ever done for me.
Well, that's great. Where the fuck was my ticket?
No comment, Scott.
Where are my fans?
I was young, you're old. That was the justification. That's what I was told. No. So if someone wants to someone needs to get Scott's ticket next time around.
No, come on.
And we'll pay you back with something more valuable than movie tickets, podcast shout-outs.
The thing is, now it's going to be artificial because yours was a genuine act of kindness that you received, and now mine is always forever going to be tainted. Everyone's
going to be climbing hand over fist to give it to you, man. You're the Paul Schaefer of this thing. I'm the loud ass asshole. One secretly likes. They just put up with me. Everyone loves George Harrison, man. I'm Ringo.
George.
Fucking Ringo.
So then who's Paul?
We don't have a Paul yet. We should get one. We should also get to the Red Shirt of the Week because we got to wrap shit up.
Yeah, man.
We take this time to remember those who have laid their lives down for Starfleet. This is the red shirt of the week.
Scott has this week's red shirt. And
Yeah, so
it's a doozy.
I've been going through the season 2 Blu-ray, and this guy is an oldie but a goodie. Ensign Haskell from the episode where silence has lease. You might recall it's where they encounter Nagilum, who's that eyeball and mouth but no nose mother who lives in that void of non-space or whatever it is. And Ensign Haskell had the bad luck, and it's funny too, knowing what's going to happen to Ensign Haskell when you watch the episode. He's sitting at the helm station. Wesley's at that station all episode, and then the commercial break comes. They come back from break, and all of a sudden Wesley's gone, and this guy is now sitting at that position, which just happens to be the moment when Nagilum decides to learn what death is, and basically blow the guy's cerebral cortex up or something.
And he gives him an epileptic seizure, right?
Yeah, he has the guy Haskell doubles over, and he's holding his head, and he's kind of falls into a fetal position.
Like his brain's just been turned into Jiffy Pop.
Yeah, pretty much. And everyone feels real bad that someone died on their watch. They're not particularly concerned about who it was who died, or I'm not sure they even mentioned his name. I only know his name was Haskell because I looked it up on Memory Alpha. But this guy, his red shirt death was so memorable that it did become a GIF meme that was kind of floating around the web for a while there.
Well played, internet. Well
played.
So
I've seen it in email signatures. I've seen it on Tumblrs. I've seen it on Facebook. So that's
even in death, Scott. Even in death, he lives on.
Yes. Yes. So that's our red shirt, season 2 red shirt. So the red shirts are out there. Sometimes we feel like we forget, or we feel like we've covered all the good red shirts, but all you need to do is go back and watch a few episodes, and they come back to you. They're still out there. So
they're never. He's not really dead, Scott, as long as we remember him. On that note, ladies and germs, thank you for listening to a fun and fast podcast from Transporter Room 3. We'll see you on Gravette Island.